So, what we will discuss today, let's understand that. First of all, why NLP, why we are going to understand natural language processing. Second thing is why, what are the use cases of NLP around us. Then third thing we are going to discuss is what is NLP, what is natural language processing. Then we will take a live example of sentiment classification. And last, we will understand introduction to word embeddings and why we need it. Okay, so why NLP? So in global natural language processing market, this is the survey that has been done by a government body. And as we can see here, the largest market by region at 2018 for natural language processing was North America. And fastest growing market by region was APEC, means Asia Pacific, that is India. Okay. In 2018, the market size of natural language processing was $8.3 billion. But in 2024, this market size is going to be $22.9 billion. That's what they are projecting. So, considering in terms of percentages, the market growth rate for natural language processing is approximately 20% from 2019 to 2024. And this indicates that there are a lot of job openings are going to be there in natural language processing market. And that's why it is very important to understand how this field is working and what are the different use cases we are using right now and what kind of progress we can make in this field. Okay. So this is one of the reason that the market is accepting natural language processing wholeheartedly. This is also a small detailed diagram that application of natural language processing, where in which industry we are able to use this. So in terms of industry, banking and financial services and insurance, that is called as BFSI, automotive industry, healthcare industry, retail industry, IT and telecommunication, and many others. So these are the industries that are consuming natural language processing at very rapid rate. And among these industries, the banking, financial services, and insurance, this industry is consuming NLP at largest scale. And the healthcare is consuming this NLP technology at fastest rate. Okay. Now, what are the different applications of natural language processing? So, information extraction, question answering, machine translation, report generation, and text processing. We will understand this in later stage in detail. So this is something I wanted to give as a brief of about natural language processing, that it is acceptable in several various industries, the fastest growing industry for Asia Pacific, and it is having a lot of applications. So NLP around you, where we can see NLP around us. Okay, so all of us have used this kind of Google translation, machine translation. So whenever we go to Google and we don't understand the French language or Spanish language or something, we enter on Google Translator our sentence, and the selected language, it will translate that sentence into the selected language, right? So this is at the back end is being NLP is being used at the back end of this technology. Now, information retrieval and extraction. So if you people have notice about or if you people are aware about InShorts. InShorts is one of the application that caters as news in 60 words. So what InShorts application does at the back end, so it extract information from various news channels, various news websites, and whatever is there available. Based on that, it creates a small 60 word long sentence, so that it can give you crisp and clear message that this is what going on right now. For example, right now solar eclipse is going on. Okay, so on InShort, if you have installed this application on your mobile, you will receive a notification that solar eclipse is going on, and a small information or various information regarding that news will be pop up there. So, information retrieval and extraction is one of the means another example of natural language processing. Then customer sentiment analysis. So when we buy a product from Amazon or Flipkart or any other e-commerce website, we generally give our feedback that your product was like this, your product was like that, I didn't like this, the packaging was good, the delivery was on time, like something like that, right? So what kind of sentiment customer is having regarding our project, or regarding our product, or regarding our facilities, so that we can understand from natural language processing. And there are several types of sentiments, like positive sentiments. If we say something good to a person about natural language or about a particular product, then it is considered as a positive sentiment. For example, I'm recommending that Charuset is a very good university, so it's a positive sentiment about Charuset University from my side, right? And likewise, so the fourth application we can consider is spell checker. So all of us have used the word, Microsoft Word, right? So whenever we make any mistake when we are creating Microsoft Word document, well, we are creating a presentation report, or we are creating something for our college submission, right? At that time spell checker happens. Spell checker works in the background, and if we have made any mistake there, then it will correct automatically, or it will tell us that this is it will show a squiggly line, right, under that word, that incorrect is the word that you have written, but the actual word is inco double rect instead of single rect. So here also natural language processing is being used. So natural language processing means what? So we are interacting every day in our natural languages like English, Gujarati, Hindi, and all. But a machine cannot understand natural languages, right? Because machine works on binary, machine works on digital language. So to process our day-to-day language like Gujarati, Hindi, English, we have to convert our language into machine understandable language. So that's where whatever processes happens, all those processes are considered as natural language processing. So let we understand some more examples. So smart assistant. Okay. Smart assistant. What is this? So Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, Cortana, iPhone Siri, and Samsung's Bixby. So what these things do? So they are continuously on listening mode whenever we say something to them. For example, if we are using our Google Assistant from our mobile phone, so what we do? We open Google in means Google Assistant, and then we speak. So when we speak, our mobile phone accepts whatever we have and spoken, and based on whatever we have spoken, it will process that language, and it will understand what we are trying to ask from it, and it will respond back. For example, hey Google, turn on the TV and start the popcorn maker. So the Google Assistant will what the Google Assistant will do? It will understand that we are trying to tell it turn on the TV, and the second task we are trying to tell it is to start the popcorn maker machine, right? And based on that, it will come with a reply that sure, turning on the TV and turning the popcorn maker on, right? So Google Assistant understood here two things, that we are expecting it to turn on the TV and expecting it to start popcorn maker machine. Same way, if we ask something else, it will come up with a befitting reply, right? So this is where also machine learning and natural language processing is at the back end. Now, another example if we see is robo advisory and chatbots. So whenever we go on any website where, for example, if financial website is there, right? If you go on HDFC website, or if you go on Charuset website even, you will, if you go on IRCTC website, you will find this kind of chatbots. So, hi, how are you today? That's what the person is writing. And the bot is coming up with a reply. I am good. How are you? Do you have a favorite food? Mine is lobster. So what is happening here? The bot, the chatbot, or the robo advisory is understanding what user is speaking, coming up with a reply, and it is trying to have a conversation with the person. Right. So do you have a favorite food? So the robo automatically asks this question so that the user can interact with it. And based on that, it will guide you, or it will tell you whatever you are looking for. Right. For example, I want to book a train ticket to Delhi. So if I'll go on IRCTC and write down there that train on Tuesday for Delhi. So it will come up with a reply with a list of all the trains that are going to Delhi from Ahmedabad, right? So that's how robo advisory and chatbot works. And here also what happens, whatever query user has asked, that query will be processed from natural language to machine understandable language, and after understanding that thing, machine will come up with a reply and the communication will happen, right? Same way brand sentiment analysis. So here also this is a screenshot of Amazon, for example. So for example, a t-shirt related product is there. So the users will write here that I love this brand, very vibrant colors and blah, 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 right? And based on that, the customer and sentiment or brand sentiment will be identified, that what kind of sentiment customers are having regarding a particular brand. If people are not liking Nike shoes, or people are not liking Woodland shoes, then we will be able to understand from here that whatever purchases are being made on Amazon and Flipkart, those purchases are not going in good fashion. And based on that, Flipkart and Amazon will give feedback to the brands that your products are not being liked by the users, or the quality is poor, or your delivery or shipping is poor. So based on that, they will try to improvise and they will try to provide good customer service, right? So this is another example of natural language processing. Now, social media sentiment analysis. So COVID-19. So right now COVID-19 is going on, right? So what kind of people, what kind of tweets are being made? What kind of Facebook posts are being made? Currently, Sushant Singh Rajput related news are circulating, right? So if you go on every social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere you will find out Sushant Singh Rajput related things. So what they will do, they will identify what kind of emotions people are having, on what kind of tweets are being made, what kind of Facebook posts are being made, and based on that, they will take countermeasures. For example, COVID-19 related things are going on. So if in a particular city, a lot of people are making depressing posts on Twitter that we are feeling alone, we don't like this, the atmosphere is very dull. If people are writing like this, then what will happen? The government will be able to understand that people's mood or their sentiments are not in healthy state, and we should do some uh, countermeasures to lift people's mood, right? So that this is where the social media sentiment analysis can come handy, and behind this social media sentiment analysis, natural language processing is at the work. Another example we can take is content recommendation. So whenever we go on Google and we write something like this, natural language processing use cases, what will happen here? So about this many results in 0.67 seconds, Google has identified for this search query. Right? So how it is doing this? Same way, document clustering and ranking. So whenever we make a Google search, we find out this many results, right? But from these many results, there are several. There is a result which will come as a first result, then second, third, fourth, fifth. Right? 10 results will be in the first place. Then you will go to the second page and you will find another 10 results. So how these results are being ranked, which will come first and which will come third or which will come fifth, right? So this is where also the natural language processing is at work. On Wikipedia also, natural language processing works. So, for example, we are having a lot of posts. How Google works basically, right? So Google is having a lot of things in its database, and when technology related search query is happening or sports related search query is happening, what it will do? It will identify proper documents from the database and it will show those documents or those links to user in search query results. And it is using NLP at the back end of this. So we can say that Google is also based on NLP only. And as the time passes and as NLP related research is happening more and more, and they are coming with good, more accurate um, algorithms, the Google results, Google search query results are becoming very much more accurate and much more user required. So this is another example of NLP. Now, what is NLP? Let's we understand this thing. So NLP basically comes with two things. NLP is equals to NLG plus NLU. So natural language processing comprises of natural language generation and natural language understanding. So let's understand what this means. NLP is equals to NLU plus NLG. So suppose there is a bot or there is a chat bot and we are asking this to Google, for example, what's the weather like tomorrow? Okay. So what Google needs to do here, Google has to first understand that what we are asking it, right? So there comes the natural language understanding part. So this entire technology of NLU will try to extract the understanding from the query that what we are trying to type there. What is the weather like tomorrow? Right? And after typing that, if there is a chatbot, then what will happen? It will come up with a reply. Where are you based? Because it understood that you were asking for tomorrow's weather. But to identify tomorrow's weather, it is required where you are located right now. Because if I am in Pune, if I am in Bangalore, if I am in Delhi, then the answer will differ here, right? So tomorrow's date is fixed, but for which location you are asking for weather? So this is how this thing works. NLP equals to natural language understanding, what the user is asking. Then this RASA is a natural language framework, natural language processing framework. For example, um, if MATLAB software is there, or if uh, any other C or C++ software is there, right? We are doing coding in those softwares. So there is a backend framework which will understand whatever you are writing there. Same way, the NLP means to understand NLP, we need a framework, and that is being provided by RASA. RASA is a company which is working on this framework, and there are many other frameworks. This is just an example. So, what's the weather like tomorrow? So it will understand your query. It will come up with a reply. That location question, we have to ask location question as next action. Why? Because to give tomorrow's weather related information, we need to understand where the person is located. Okay, and this is how entire natural language processing comprising of understanding and generation works. Why generation? Because it is generating this text. Where are you based? It's generated by computer, right? So that's why it is called as natural language generation. Now, sentiment analysis using rule-based approach. So what is happening here? Let's understand this. So I'm taking an example. One of the greatest movies of all time, period. So what the user wants to try here, or what the user want to tell here, user has made a comment for XYZ movie. What kind of movie was that? And user shared that one of the greatest movie of all time. That's what I felt about this movie, right? And based on that, how we can extract what the user is trying to tell this in terms of numbers or in terms of sentiment, right? That's a use case we are trying to take here, and that's the um, use case we will work right now. So let's go to Google Colab. Google Colab is platform where we work on machine learning related use case or machine learning related questions. So what we are doing here, just like we do has include in C sharp or has include in C++. We have to include some of the pre-built libraries. So we included some of the libraries. NLTK means Natural Language Toolkit. And these are some of the other things. What are these word nets and what we will cover that later. Okay. So we are trying to understand what sentiment is there for this statement. One of the greatest movies of all time, period. So I'm executing this. So this code got executed. Okay. Now comes the second part, that is called text pre-processing. What is happening in text pre-processing? What will happen here? So we just discussed that one of the greatest movies of all time. This is a sentence written in English language, but my computer does not understand that how to understand English language. So we have to convert this English language into such a way, or we have to identify, or we have to find out some way so that we can say that this thing is having positive sentiment or negative sentiment, right? Because my machine is not understanding English language. So for that, we will do some pre-processing on this text. So what kind of pre-processing we will do? So punctuation removal, change case tokenization, stop word removal, lemmatization, and POS tagging. So what is this? Let's understand here. So punctuation removal. Why? So we know that whether a person is speaking good thing or bad thing, punctuation marks are not going to make any impact. We will not be able to extract any good information from punctuation, right? So if brackets are there, or question mark is there, or slash is there, or the square bracket is there, at the rate sign is there. So these signs are of no significance. These signs make no sense when we are trying to understand sentiment, right? So we will just remove them. Okay, just like we remove garbage so that we have with the what is required for us, right? So first of all, we will remove the punctuation marks. So this block of code, what is happening here, we have made a list of different punctuations. What we are doing, this sentence we are passing here sentence dot lower, that means we are converting this sentence case to lower case. Then what we are doing, for every character O N E space O F, for every character we are running a for loop and we are checking whether that character is existing in punctuation. If it is existing in punctuation, we are replacing it with a blank. Okay, so let me execute this. What happens here? One of the greatest movies of all time. Then there was a full stop, and here another full stop was there. So we removed these two full stops because they were of no significance. Right now, change case and tokenization. So change case is not that much important here, but tokenization is important. So what is tokenization? That this is the sentence. Okay, so we will break this sentence into its words because we want to operate on these words, not on entire sentence. Okay, so that's why we are going to use word tokenize function that is being provided by this library. Just like we write printf scanf. Okay, so what computer has to do when printf comes and scanf comes, computer already know, right? Because we have included, has include stdio.h at the top of the code, right? So likewise, we have included NLTK, and when word underscore tokenize will come, or when word underscore tokenize will come, uh, our sentence will be converted into tokens instead of this entire sentence, right? So we execute this. So what is happening here? One of the greatest movies of all time period got broken down into words. One of the greatest movies of all time period. Now another thing we will do here is removing stop word. What is stop word? So off, then is, are, right? These are the words. These are the words which doesn't convey any meaningful message, right? We want to know what kind of sentiment user is having here, correct? So as you can see here, the positive or negative word can be seen here by our naked eye. That is the greatest, right? So greatest means something good we are trying to say here. That's why we use greatest, right? He was a great human being. The movie was great. Sachin Tendulkar was a great batsman, right? So great is giving some positive thing, or great is giving some positive sentiment about the particular text, right? So same way, of is there, the is there, then is, are, some such kind of words are there, but those words do not convey anything about sentiment. So that's why we just remove them, and those words are called as stop words. So we are using here stop word, English language related stop words, and we will execute this. Then what will happen? Of, the, of, all these four words got excluded from our data set. So one, greatest, movies, time, and period. Now, as you can understand, or as you can see here, all the meaningful words are there. Whether they are conveying anything about sentiment is not, that's a secondary thing right now. But is, of, are, such kind of words which are actually means absolutely garbage. Those words have been removed here from this text. Now lemmatization. What is lemmatization here? So lemmatization means what? Lemmatization word is coming from lemma. And what is lemma? So whenever movies is there or movie is there, such kind of means movie and movies, both things say one thing only, that is movie, right? Same way, if we are having different words like um, play, played, then good, then good, best, better. So all these words are coming from a good word only. So it will give us the root word. So instead of movies, it is giving us movie. So we are converting our raw words into the root words here. One, greatest, movie, time, and period. That's what we get here. And here, let me tell you one more thing, and that is greatest is also required to be converted to great. Okay, greatest is also something which is based from the root word great. But here, because of the limitations of the library of the lemmatization that we are using here, that word is not getting converted to great. Instead of and instead of that, we are getting the greatest word as output. Okay. Now, what we will do here, as we know that in English language, all the words that we are using, those words can have different meanings, right? So sometimes the same word can be used as noun, or sometimes the same word can be used as verb, right? We are having such kind of cases which we will cover later. So let we what we are doing, POS tagging. POS tagging means part of speech. So whatever we have written in this word is being used as verb, or it is being used as noun, something like that. So movie is a noun, time is a noun, period is a noun. So we are tagging these words to this POS tagging. Okay, and why we are doing this, we will understand that in a few minutes. So what we did here in terms of text processing, we removed the punctuation from whatever user has written. Then we change the case and we tokenize the word, the sentence into the token. Then we remove the stop words and one, greatest, movies, time, period, and of, the, of, all these four words got removed. Then lemmatization means we change our words to the root word, and then we did POS tagging means why this word is used here or in which form this word is used here, right? So, for example, let me give you the example that will clear you. So, for example, we went to the river bank, and I need to go to bank to make a deposit. So here the word bank is used, but the word bank is being used in two different uh, style or two different meaning, right? Here the word river bank means the we are talking about river, but here the bank means the financial institution we are talking. So that's why we need to do POS tagging here. And based on POS tagging, we will understand what that word is actually telling us. Okay, whether it is a river bank or whether it is a financial institution of bank. Okay, so we are done with our text preprocessing, and now what will happen? We are ready with our word and how that word is used in the sentence, word and how it is used here in the sentence, and this kind of input or input for the next function we have prepared, right? So now how this thing will work. So what we did here, we did punctuation removal, change case tokenization, stop word removal, lemmatization, and POS tagging. Now we will apply a rule-based approach here. So what is happening here, rule-based approach? So Senti WordNet, that was the title of the session. Okay, Senti WordNet is a library that has been created by machine learning engineers. And what they have created here, POS tag, word ID, positive score, negative score, and glossary, gloss. Okay, so what is happening here? For good, 0.625 positive score has been applied and 0 negative score has been applied. Same way, for negative word, 0 positive score has applied and 0.875 negative score has applied. Same way, advisable, for this, 0.625 is the positive score, 0 is the negative score. Same way, well advised, 0.5 is the positive score, 0 is the negative score for this particular word. So what they have done here, they have created this kind of like dictionary. For each word, they have given a score for positiveness and negativeness. And based on this, we will try to identify whether our sentence is having positive sentiment or negative sentiment. Okay. So whatever we did here, what we did here, our word and in which fashion it is used. So we will pass this thing here, functions for sentiment scoring. We will pass this thing here in SentiSynNet and synset.name. This is the function we are not going in detail here, but we are passing all these words to Senti WordNet library one by one, and we will see that when we execute this and the second line, so as you can see here, greatest is having 0.875 positive. Here it is written word dot positive score, word dot negative score, and word dot object score. Okay, if if there is a thing that we have passed here, for example, time period. So time period is an object. It doesn't convey whether it is a positive word or negative word, right? For example, car, then house. If such kind of words are there, then those will be considered as object instead of positive or negative word. So for greatest, we got 0.875 positive, 0 is negative, and 0.125 is object. Same way for all remaining three words, movie, time, and time period. We got different scores. And then what we will do at the end here, we will add all the positive scores of the words and we will add all the negative scores of the words and we will do subtraction. So what our sentence that we have passed here, it containing one of the greatest movie of all time, dot period. That sentence is containing positive weightage of 1 and negative weightage of 0.125. And based on these two numbers, the total sentiment of the statement is 0.875 because we are subtracting 0.125 from 1. So what we did here, we passed this sentence, we broke down this sentence into the words, we removed some of the words which were not having any significant meaning, and then whatever word we had, the important words, we passed those words to Senti WordNet library, and that Senti WordNet library gave us some figures or some numbers about that, like about those words, and based on that, we calculated the sentiment of the entire statement. That this sentence is a positive sentence, right? And based on this, all this thing, that is this customer sentiment analysis, then this Amazon or Flipkart related preview, what customer is writing here, whether the customer is writing positive thing about the product or not, whether the customer is saying good things about shipping or not, shipping facility or not. Everything can be identified this way. Okay, so this is sentiment analysis using rule-based approach. Okay, now, so the important part here is text processing and this like dictionary file that has been created by the machine learning engineers by years of efforts. Okay, so what we missed here, let's we try to understand that and why we need word embedding over this senti wordnet library. So what we did here, we gave text input, we tokenize our input into words, we did some stop word filtering, then this particular figure is showing negation handling. We didn't do this. Okay, then comes stemming means lemmatization. As of now, you can consider, so converting words into its root words. Okay, then comes classification means whether the word is positive, negative, or objective. Okay, and at the end sentiment class, so plus minus plus positive minus negative, so we will get a sentiment class whether the word is positive, whether the sentence is positive or not. Okay, so we didn't do here negation handling. And what is negation handling? So if a person is writing like this is not a good read, or I don't like Apple products, so what we'll do here, or what will happen here, we will convert this into the tokens, we will remove the stop words, so is not a, all these words will get removed, and based on the good word that will be left here, we will get a positive sentiment here, that this sentence is a positive sentence. But as we can understand that this is not a good read, means this book is not a good read, so that's a negative feeling about a book, right? So we are not considering this negation here. Someone is right, instead of writing this, user may have written this is a bad read or this is a bad book. Okay, so if this is a bad book, that's what written, then at that time our process will have worked successfully. But if user will write like this is not a good read, but I don't like Apple product, then our process will fail. Why? Because we are not taking into the consideration the context in which the words are being used. The positive context or the negative context or the neutral context, we are not considering that when we are doing the senti-wordnet or when we are using senti-wordnet, right? So context is very important, because why? We went to the river bank, I need to go to bank to make a deposit. So here the bank word is same, but in which context it is being used. And if we look into the context, the entire meaning of these two statements just change, right? So this process of senti-wordnet doesn't take into account the context, and hence we can say that we are losing the context here. So to improvise or to take care of the context, how we can proceed here? So for that, word embeddings come into the picture, or word embeddings come at the rescue. So how word embeddings work? So ultimately what we are doing, we are taking our words and we are considering our words into numbers, somehow applying some process, and based on those numbers we are calculating whether the sentence is positive or negative. Correct? So same way, what if we take another approach to convert our words into numbers? So what we do here in terms of word embeddings, for example, football is there, baseball is there, marbles, tag, hide and seek. So what are these? These are all games. But these all games are having some features. Whether this game can be played individually, this game needs a team, these games can be played in indoor, this game can be played outdoor. It's a board game or card game or kids game or adults can play, means adults can play. So we collaborated such kind of semantic features. Okay, and based on the semantic features we gave score to these words, right? And we created another dictionary. For example, type of this is the definition: type of word representation that allows words with similar meanings to have similar representations, right? So if football and baseball, both things need team, both things need to be played outdoor. So football and baseball will have similar score. If football is represented as 1, baseball will be represented as 0.99. Same way marbles. Marble can be played individually. Marble can be played indoor. Marble can be played outdoor. Marbles can be played by kids. So these are the features of game of marbles. And based on that, as it is having some differences with football and baseball, it will be having football is having 1 as representation. Baseball is having 0.99. So marble will have 0.2 or 0.3, something like that. At a great distance, right? Here it will be more clear. So for example, king word is there, queen word is there, princess is there, and boy is there, right? So for king, queen, and princess, all these three are having royalty. So they are royal figures. So that's why they all are having 0.9 and 0.9 and 0.9. But boy is not royal. Boy word does not show royalty, right? So that's why for royalty, boy got 0.01 score. Male. King is a male. So that's why 0.9. Queen is not a male. So that's why 0.02 or 0.01. Princess is not a male. That's why 0.01. Boy is a male. 0.98. So likewise, some semantic features were accumulated, and based on that, all the words we are having, they have been given a good numbers. And this is how the word embedding related new dictionary got created. Okay, so instead of using this dictionary, we created a new dictionary with semantic features. And whatever score we got here for words, we applied those scores into the machine learning, uh, into this process that we just built here. Instead of applying these two functions, okay, we use another functions which are based on the word embeddings, and then we got some new scores which are more accurate, which are taking into consideration the context of the words. Okay, so if we put that word embedding into this flow, then how it will be displayed? So we will get a sentence that is a text. We'll do some pre-processing, tokenization, lemmatization, POS tagging, stop word removal, right? Then we will pass it to the word embedding. Here, what will happen? Word to back, glow, Elmo, bird. These are some words which are different word embeddings. So here, what we do? Whatever words we have extracted here, we will convert those words into numbers here. And then based on those numbers, we will apply some machine learning technique, or we will do this, that is positive minus negative, find positive score, negative score, objective score, and then apply positive minus negative, and we will get our new score. That will be our sentiment, whether the positive sentence is having positive sentiment, whether the sentence is having negative sentiment or objective sentiment, right? So this is how the process got changed from SentiWordNet to word embedding. So what we discuss here, how is the growth of NLP market? That's what we understood first. Application, that is consuming natural language processing around us. Then how NLP operates, that is NLP equals to NLG plus NLU. First natural language understanding comes, and then natural language generation comes. Text pre-processing and SentiWordNet, these are the two things we saw in the detail. What do we miss in rule-based approach? So we miss the context of the text, in which context the word is being used by user. And that's why we need to go to word embedding, where we use semantic features like this or this to give score to word, and then using those scores we identify whether a particular word is positive, negative, or objective. Okay, so this is what we discussed today.